Good morning, students. Of course, last class we discussed this components of food. Okay. So in Karnataka, rice, chapati, and sambar are always famous. I hope you all understood that. So next we will move to the next concepts. That is, what do different food items contain? What do different food items contain? Okay. We know that each dish is usually made up of one or more ingredients which we get from plants or animals. These ingredients contain some components. They are needed by our body. These components are called nutrients. See, my dear students, here. So we have already discussed in the first chapter about ingredients. So what are the ingredients? Ingredients are the food material required to prepare the food. So we know that a food item contains more than one ingredient. That ingredient should be taken either from plant or from animal. So ನಮಗೆ ingredients ಗೊತ್ತದ. So one food ಒಳಗೆ ಒಂದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಹೆಚ್ಚು ingredient ಇರ್ತಾವ. So ಆ ingredient ಎಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಬರ್ತಾವು? They will come from plant ಅಥವಾ animal. Okay. So there are some materials which are very useful to our body and our body needs that. Those are called as vitamins. Those are called as vitamins, or we can say nutrients. Those are called as nutrients, not vitamins, nutrients. In nutrients, vitamins will come. Okay. So those are called as nutrients. The major nutrient in our food are named carbohydrates, proteins, fats, vitamins, and minerals. In addition, food contains dietary fibers and water, which are also needed by our body. See here, the most important thing, major food nutrients. Which are the major food nutrients? I am going to write those. Carbohydrates. 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 Next, proteins. Proteins. Fats. Fats. Proteins, fats, vitamins and minerals. Vitamins, minerals, and sometimes they are called dietary fibers. Dietary fibers and water. So these are the important carbohydrate nutrients that our body needs. See here, these are the important nutrients. Which are these? Carbohydrates, proteins, fats, vitamins, minerals, and dietary fibers. So these are very much needed for our body. So these are the fibers we really need to our body, and of course water is also important. Water is being added there. So these are the components of food, we can say. So our food should contain these all items. So whatever the food you are eating in a week you can take, or in a day you can take, you should eat at least some of these foods. Everything should be there. Only carbohydrates we cannot eat, only proteins we cannot eat, only fats we cannot eat. Same thing with vitamins, minerals, fibers and waters. So our food should be the mixture of all these things. When it will be the mixture of all these things, we can call it as a balanced food. So they have one work. So which are these? How they will work? We will see in the next concepts. Do all foods contain all these nutrients? With some simple methods we can test whether cooked food or a raw ingredient contains one or more of these nutrients. The test for presence of carbohydrates, proteins and fats are simpler to do as compared to the test for other nutrients. Let us do these tests and record all our observation in table 2.2. Okay. So they are telling us to do the test. That means if you take one food, whether it is cooked one or raw one, okay, we can test whether carbohydrates is present in this, protein is present in it, fat or vitamin. So it is easy to test them. So we can test and record the observation in table 2.2. Okay. So for carrying out these tests you will need solutions of iodine, copper sulfate and caustic soda. I think this is not possible because we are not having present laboratory open. So once you come, then okay, once the school starts, then teacher may take you to the lab and do the these things, experiments. You will also need a few test tubes and a drop. So what are those very important indicators? We can call them iodine, copper sulfate, copper sulfate, and of course another one is caustic soda. Caustic soda, iodine, copper sulfate, and caustic soda. So these are what? These are the indicators. Okay. So we need these for the experiment. That is presence of carbohydrate, proteins, or fats. We need them. Okay. So here, very important thing, presence of carbohydrate, proteins or fats, experiment needs these three things: iodine, copper sulfate and caustic soda with some solutions, that is test tubes. Try these tests on cooked food items as well as raw materials. Table 2.2 of you way to record the observation from these tests. Some food items are given in this table. You can conduct the tests either with these or any other available food items. Do these tests carefully and do not try to eat or taste any chemicals. So when you are doing the test, it is mandatory that you should not eat anything there, because some chemicals are there, some solutions are there, it is harmful to our body. So don't touch them, don't eat them, okay, when that is also carrying the experiment. Okay. So let us begin by testing different food items to see if they contain carbohydrates. There are many types of carbohydrates. The main carbohydrates found in our food are in the form of starch and sugars. We can easily test if a food item contains starch. See, mainly of our food items main component is carbohydrate. Regularly we eat more carbohydrates than proteins and fats. Carbohydrate no ball tintivi. For example, chapati, rice, roti. So they all are the source of carbohydrate. So ಇವನ್ನ main food ನಮ್ ತಿನ್ನೋದು. So ತುಪ್ಪ ಅಥವಾ ಇನ್ನುಳಿದ ವಿಷಯಗಳೇನಂತಿ ಪ್ರೋಟೀನ್ ಕಂಟೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಇರ್ತಾವ, ಎಗ್. So we eat them less. ಒಂದು ದಿವಸನಂತೂ ಈಟ ಮಾಡಲ್ಲ ಎಗ್. Okay. So these are the things. But carbohydrate now in tintula, that should be present in two forms, main two forms. We can call it as sugar and starch. Okay, nantara sugar and starch. Sugar and starch anta yavadu carbohydrate we eat, that is called as, that is mainly present in the form of sugar and starch. ನಾವು ತಿಂತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಕಾರ್ಬೋಹೈಡ್ರೇಟ್ಗಳು ಏನಿರ್ತಾವೆ ಶುಗರ್ ಮತ್ತು ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಚ್ ಅನ್ನೋ ಮೇನ್ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ದಾಗ ಇರ್ತಾವೆ. ಓಕೆ. ಸೊ ನಿಮಗಿಲ್ಲಿ ಪೇಜ್ ನಂಬರ್ 9 ಒಳಗೆ ಒಂದು ಅಟ್ ದ ಟಾಪ್ ಲೆಫ್ಟ್ ಸೈಡ್ ದೇ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಗಿವನ್ ಇನ್ ಯೆಲ್ಲೋ ಕಲರ್. ಓಕೆ, ಒಂದು ಬಾಕ್ಸ್ ಐತಿ, ಅದನ್ನ ಐ ವಿಲ್ ರೀಡ್ ದಟ್, ಯು ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ರೀಡ್ ದಟ್. ಓಕೆ. A dilute solution of iodine can be prepared by adding a few drops of tincture iodine to a test tube half filled with water. See, tincture iodine and sigtade if you go to medicals. So tincture iodine sigtade, one test tube ತಗೋಬೇಕು, ಅದರೊಳಗೆ ವಾಟರ್ ಹಾಕಬೇಕು, half filled with water, ಅರ್ಧ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಟೆಸ್ಟ್ ಟ್ಯೂಬ್ ಅರ್ಧ ತುಂಬುಮಟ ಅಂದ್ರೆ 60% ತುಂಬುಬಿಟ್ಟು 50 to 60%, ಅರ್ಧ ಅಂದ್ರೆ 50, ಬಟ್ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಹೆಚ್ಚಿಗೆ ತೊಂದ್ರೆ ನಡೀತದೆ. 50 to 60% ತೊಗೊಂಡ ಇಫ್ ಯು ಆಡ್ ಟಿಂಕ್ಚರ್ ಐಯೋಡಿನ್ ಟು ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಅಯೋಡಿನ್ ಸೊಲ್ಯೂಷನ್. ಅದು ನಾವು ಅಯೋಡಿನ್ ಸೊಲ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಅಂತ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು. ಕಾಪರ್ ಸಲ್ಫೇಟ್ ಸೊಲ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಬಿ ಪ್ರಿಪೇರ್ಡ್ ಬೈ ಡಿಸಾಲ್ವಿಂಗ್ 2 grams ಆಫ್ ಕಾಪರ್ ಸಲ್ಫೇಟ್ ಇನ್ 100 milliliter ಆಫ್ ವಾಟರ್. 100 ml ವಾಟರ್ ತಗೋದು, ಅದ್ರೊಳಗೆ 2 grams ಆಫ್ CuSO4. ಕಾಪರ್ ಸಲ್ಫೇಟ್ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ CuSO4. We have to 2 grams CuSO4 ಅನ್ನ 100 ml ಆಫ್ ವಾಟರ್ ದಾಗ ಮಿಕ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಅದನ್ನ ಸ್ಟಿರ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ we get the copper sulfate solution. ಅಯೋಡಿನ್ ಅಂತ ನಾವೇನು ತಗೋಬೇಕು, ಟಿಂಕ್ಚರ್ ಅಯೋಡಿನ್. ಟಿಂಕ್ಚರ್ ಅಯೋಡಿನ್. Okay, so tincture iodine atu idattu, then 100 gram of caustic soda dissolved in 100 ml of water makes the required solution of the caustic soda. 100 gram of caustic soda, 100 gram caustic soda ತಗೊಂಡೆ ಅದನ್ನ ಎದ್ರೊಳಗೆ ಮಿಕ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. 10 grams, 10 gram of caustic soda dissolved in 100 ml of water. 100 ml water ತಗೊಳ್ಳೋದು, 100 ml water ದಾಗ 10 gram of caustic soda ಹಾಕಿ. ಸೊ ಅದನ್ನ ಸ್ಟಿರ್ ಮಾಡೋದಾಗ ಏನು, you will get the solution of caustic soda. ಮೂರು ಸೊಲ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಹೆಂಗೆ ಪ್ರಿಪೇರ್ ಮಾಡೋದು ಗೊತ್ತಾಯ್ತಲ್ಲ? that we can do it in lab, don't do it in home because you will not have test tube and those chemical materials. Don't try at all in home. Okay, chemistry experiment should not be tried in home. Physics experiments you can try, these are not harmful if it is possible to available, if the things are available which are needed for experiment, then you can try in home. But chemistry experiment don't at all try. Okay, that you can do in lab. Test for starch. Take small quantity of food item or a raw ingredient, put 2 to 3 drops of dilute iodine solution on it, observe there is any change in the color of the food item. Did it turn blue black? A blue black color indicates that it contains starch. Repeat this with other food items to find out which of these contains starch. Enter all your observation in table 2.2. So table 2.2 kotara adana enter ಮಾಡಬೇಕು observations, but right now it is not possible because we are all in lockdown, so no lab is going to possible here, no experiment is possible. So I think, so just you know what it is. ಏನು ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋದು ನೆನಪಿಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಟೆಸ್ಟ್ ಫಾರ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಚ್ ಏನು ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಯಾವ ಫುಡ್ ಐಟಮ್ ಒಳಗೆ ಕಾರ್ಬೋಹೈಡ್ರೇಟ್ ಅಥವಾ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಚ್ ಐತೆ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಚೆಕ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಲ್ಲ. that food item you have to take, in that you add 2 to 3 ml of iodine. Okay, put 2 to 3 drops dilute iodine solution on it. ಅದರ ಮೇಲೆ dilute iodine solution 2 to 3 drops ಅದನ್ನ ಹಾಕಬೇಕು. If it changes the color, if now the food changes to blue black color, then we can say that starch or carbohydrate is present in that. Starch andre vere alla, carbohydrate andre vere alla. Sugar, starch are main components of carbohydrate. So test for starch anta keltare ಅಥವಾ test for carbohydrate ಕೇರು ಇದೆ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ನೀವು. So test for starch ಏನು ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, you have to take the raw food item, iodine solution ತಗೋಬೇಕು, 3 ಡ್ರಾಪ್ iodine solution ಹಾಕಬೇಕು. ಅವಾಗ ಫುಡ್ ಐಟಮ್ ಏನು iodine solution ಹಾಕಿರಲ್ಲ, if it colors blue black, the color should change to blue black. Blue black ಆಗಬೇಕು ಅಥವಾ black ಆಗಬೇಕು, black or blue black you can say. ಆ ಕಲರ್ ಚೇಂಜ್ ಆದ್ರೆ then we can say it is containing carbohydrate. If it does not change the color, then we should say that it is not having carbohydrate in it, or it is not having starch in it. If it changes the color, then only we can say that it is containing starch. It is containing starch. Okay, so next we'll go for test for protein. So here they have given table 2.2, but we cannot say that one now, we cannot fill that one. Okay, because we are not at all known the labs, but we have not done the experiment, so you can keep it like that. Okay, we'll see test for protein now. Take a small quantity of food item for testing. If the food you want to test is a solid, you first need to make a paste of it or powder it. Grind or mash with a small quantity of the food item. Put some of these in a clean test tube and add 10 drops of water to it and shake the test tube. See, one test tube ತಗೋಬೇಕು. You have to take one test tube. See, in this test tube, ಯಾವ್ದು food item ತಗೊಂಡಿರಲ್ಲ, that you have to put. But if it is the solid material, then you have to crush it, make it the powder. Okay, then add that powder to this one with some 100 ml of water. So you stir the solution, shake the test tube. Now using a dropper, add 2 drops of solution of copper sulfate and 10 drops of solution of caustic soda. So to this we have to add 2 drops of CuSO4 and 10 drops of caustic soda. We have to add 2 drops of CuSO4 and 10 drops of caustic soda. When you add this, what will happen? Caustic soda to the test tube, shake well, and the test tube stand for a few minutes. What do you see? Did the contents of the test tube turn violet? A violet color indicates presence of proteins. See, when you stir it, keep it for some time, say 2 to 3 minutes. Then if there is a color change appearing in this test tube, if the color change is appearing, means if the solution is converting to violet, if the solution is changing to violet, then we can say that protein is present in that. If the solution is turning violet, then we can say protein is present in that. If it is not at all turning violet, then we cannot say protein is present in that. So very much important, what you have to do in the test tube, take the food item in the powder form, put the water of 100 ml, stir it. After that, add 2 drops of CuSO4 solution and 10 drops of caustic soda solution. Stir it well, keep it for 1 to 2 minutes. Then if the color change happens, that is to violet, the solution violet convert aatandra, then we can say that there is a presence of protein. Adrolu protein ada, food item protein ada anta hele ನಾವು ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋಬಹುದು. We can say that there is the presence of protein. Okay, so we can say there is a presence of protein. So this is regarding test for starch and test for protein. So this table you can leave, next class we can see that, or you can leave, when you come you can see that. Okay, test for fats. What is the test for fat? So take a small quantity of a food item, wrap it in a piece of paper and crush it. Take care that paper does not tear. Now straighten the paper and observe it carefully. Does it have an oily patch? Hold the paper against light. Are you able to see the light faintly through this patch? Okay, so this test for fats we can see in the next class. Let us repeat what we learned today. Okay, so what we learned, first thing, these are the food items we should remember. What we learned is that our body needs some food items, very essentially we can call them as nutrients. So these are the main nutrients of our food, or you can say components of food: carbohydrates, proteins, fats, vitamins, minerals, dietary fibers and waters. These are the main constituents or components of our food. So carbohydrate is mainly present in the form of sugar and starch in our body. So in a food we can test whether it is containing carbohydrate, protein, fat or vitamin very easily. Okay, first we go for the test of carbohydrate. Before going to the test, we should know how to prepare the 3 solutions: iodine solution, CuSO4 copper sulfate solution and caustic soda solution. Here are how to prepare iodine solution. Iodine solution easily prepared by putting in a test tube. We have to put tincture iodine to the water. So there we can create iodine solution. Copper sulfate, same thing, copper sulfate solution and water, okay, should be taken in a test tube. Then we can say that it is a copper sulfate solution. Caustic soda also same. So these 3 ways we have to prepare. So this is already present in your page number 9. So 10 gram of caustic soda should be added to 100 ml of water. So 100 ml of water, then 10 gram of caustic soda, 100 ml of water. Here it is, we can prepare caustic soda. Then copper sulfate solution, 2 gram and 100 ml. Here we have to put 2 gram of CuSO4 in 100 ml of water. So this one is copper sulfate solution, this one is caustic soda solution. First one is iodine, adding a few drops of tincture iodine to test tube. Half filled test tube should be there. Add few drops of tincture iodine. So this is iodine solution. So this way we have to prepare all the solutions. So test we have to do. Which are the tests we have to do? First one, we have to do the test for starch. that is test for carbohydrate, and the second one we should do test for protein. So what we have to do, take a small quantity of cooked food or raw food and add 2 to 3 drops of iodine solution. If there is a change in color like blue black, it is containing starch. If it is not, there is no change in color, then we can say that it is not containing starch. So one food item to say a raw food item, the raw food item to for this you add iodine solution. Iodine solution. So if it turns blue black, BB, if it turns blue black, then you can say that it is containing carbohydrate. So you take other food item, for protein I am telling, you take other food item. Now what you do is, the food item should be in the powdered form. You mix it with water and stir it well. Then add both copper sulfate and caustic soda. Okay, you should add here both copper sulfate and caustic soda. That add 2 grams of copper sulfate. That means 2 drops of copper sulfate and 10 drops of caustic soda. You have to add 2 drops of copper sulfate and 10 drops of caustic soda. Then if there is a change of color in violet, if the color changes to violet, then we can say that protein is present in that. Protein is present in that. You should remember these two tests, that is test for starch, test for protein. ಏನು ಮಾಡಬೇಕು test for starch ಒಳಗೆ? Test for starch or carbohydrate or test for protein. Test for starch ಒಳಗೆ ಏನು ಮಾಡಬೇಕು? Raw food item ಅಥವಾ cooked food item ತಗೋಬೇಕು. ಅದರ ಮೇಲೆ iodine solution ಹಾಕಿಬಿಡೋದು 2 to 3 drops. If there is a change in color like blue black, it is containing starch. Over. If it is no change in color, it does not contain starch. For the thing for protein, what you have to do, whichever the food you are taking, that should be in the powder form, that should be mixed with water. If it is liquid food, no problem. If it is solid food, crush it, mix it and make it in powder form, and it should be mixed with water. Now stir the solution, that means in the test tube. Now add 2 drops of copper sulfate and 10 drops of caustic soda. Now stir it well, wait for 2 minutes. If there is a change in color, that the solution turns violet, solution of violet battu, color change, if it becomes violet, then we can say that it is containing proteins. Okay, if there is no change in color, no proteins. If there is change in color, definitely change in color to violet, protein is present. Okay, these things we learned in this class. So next we learn test for fats, what do various nutrients do for our body. In the next class we are all going to learn that. So we'll see the remaining things in the next class. So please read the textbook well and study well. Thank you.